Likutei Torah, Behar, page Membez, second column, midway, a little bit past midway. The Torah is explaining the advantage of coming into Gashmiistic things, because the highest number of finite compared to infinite is nothing. So therefore, really everything compared to Elokus is nothing. The only way we can reach that level of infinite is, like he says, Chai mitzvah mitzvah, the reward of the mitzvah is the mitzvah, because the mitzvah connects us to the essence of Hashem. Therefore, the neshama has to come down here, and he gives example of tefillin. It has to be on a physical cloth, and you write Hashem Echad, to show that the level of Hashem Echad is even in a Gashmiistic physical thing. And so he says now, V'kach v'nyim b'chol mitzvah Torah. This is in every aspect of Torah. The whole inyan of Torah is to bind the Jew to the essence of Hashem. We see by Korbanos also, we see this level. Again, what's the concept of mitzvahs? The world becomes bottled to Hashem. Hashem created yesh mi-ayin, and our role is through mitzvahs to make ayin back, the yesh back to ayin. So he says, you see this by Korbanos, what's the primary aspect of a korban? That you burn the animal on the mizbeach. It's burnt in the fire from above. When the fire, like we learned, the Gemara says, B'mei Shlomo HaMelech HaGacheles fell from the heaven, Revutza Kari was crushed like a lion, and that was the heavenly fire that was constantly on the mizbeach. In addition to that, it says, Eish Tamid Tukad Al Mizbeach L'Sichba. There have to be mitzvah lahavim in a hedyet. They have to bring the fire from here. So when you brought a korban, it was consumed in the fire from above. What does it mean, a fire from above? Spiritually, what does that mean? That the korban becomes one with Elokus, with Hashem Himself, the fire that came down from heaven. So over there you see the animal taka becomes completely bottled in the fire from above. That's the bit of Yesh La'ayim B'Pearl Mamash.
Isn't this what happened to the son of Aaron?
Yeah. But they did it wrong, because that's not what Hashem wanted to leave the body. Hashem wants him to be in the body. Same thing is also with the mitzvah tzedakah. The money that you made by working your whole body, in the job, that he made the profit. You give it to a poor man, the less klum, that has nothing of his own. You give him tzedakah. That's the level of bittul yesh layin. Again, what are you taking? You're taking yourself, your money that you worked for, and you give it to tzedakah. That's bittul the yesh to the ayin. Same thing when you learn Torah. Even though learning, we learned already in the past many times, learning is different than davening. Learning, you're bringing Hashem's Torah down into our head. We're bringing down Elokus. Tefillah, on the other hand, is like Korbanos. You're becoming closer, mimato l'mayla, from lower higher. So he says, but this hamshacha, bringing down Elokus into our brain to learn Torah, is with bittul hayesh. Like it says, v'dibarta bam, samach l'b'chol nafshecha. Right after b'chol nafshecha, a few psukim later, it says v'dibarta bam. Or like the Gemara says, that when a person learns Torah, like it says, ma lahalan, just say by matan Torah, with burning and commotion and the bittul, with awe and fear, like it was when they got the Torah, they trembled. So the same thing, whenever a person learns Torah, they have to have bittul. What's the bittul? They're learning something, it's more of a yesh. They have to realize the bittul that Hashem is allowing them to learn an infinite wisdom, meaning they understand it, and yet at the same time they realize it's nothing. Because it's infinite wisdom, and a finite brain doesn't work. It has to be the concept b'chol nafshecha, meaning shafil uneitos nafshecha. The Alter Rebbe asks the question. We say b'chol nafshecha, which means mesiras nefesh, right? Shafil uneitos nafshecha, even though they take away your soul. Mesiras nefesh. So then it should have said b'chol gufcha. The nefesh doesn't die, the body dies. So it should say not a feel neitel as nafshecha, it should say I feel neitel as gufcha. Good question, huh? Thank you. I'll tell the Alter Rebbe you agreed. The koi al gam kel the bar tabam. What does b'chol nafshecha mean? It's going on the part with the bar tabam that says afterwards. Shakol masha yikra v'yishna. Mikra mishnah. That the person learns mikra, mission, so on. Lo yanav shemasach mavdol. His nefesh should not be a separation between him and Hashem. Kilo eisev v'keirev v'sheina. As if I'm learning, I know, that's the lack of bittul. Then Torah goes into klipa. The commercial cost of the vari asher samte beficha. Ani amishna medaberes beficha. It's the Mishnah speaking through you. In other words, a Jew realizes that when he learns, when he teaches, whatever he does in Torah, it's not him. There's no me. It's Hashem talking through me. Huh?
Still goof. When you realize that, that's our goof, our brain that's realizing that.
He's talking about the spiritual aspect of it. The learning and teaching of Torah has to be with complete bittul. He's not done yet. These three things. Torah, Veda, which is Karbonis, and Gemilas Chsadim. So the Alter Rebbe mentioned all three things, by the way. He mentioned Karbonis, is the bittul that the animal becomes bottled to Hashem. Torah is the level of Chol Nafshecha, the complete level of bittul. And then he says tzedakah is bittul because you're giving what you worked, you did, and you're giving it away to somebody else. But the same thing in every detail of every mitzvah. The ultimate level of bittul, and the ultimate level of the mitzvah is bittul hayesh la'ayin. Okay? So he says that's the ultimate level of bittul. Therefore, when you have the level of bittul in a gashmistic mitzvah, then you connect to the essence of Hashem, which is infinitely greater than Gan Eden, and that's why the neshama comes down into the world. Now the Alter Rebbe says, but the reality is it's not real bittul. Because I am bottle. I am bottle. So he says, Amnam bittul ze'en amiti. Shamikom yeshu elishim battle satzmi. He's a yesh that's bottle. Like, so the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Tzadik Gomer, Oyev Avaya ba'ava b'tainugim. A guy is loving Hashem with the ultimate level of Ava. Mikomakem yesh mi shahoyev. There's somebody who is loving. There's still a yesh that loves. In other words, you have, like we learn many times, in the Mishnah Pekavos, Asay Retzeincha, Batul Retzeincha. There's Bittul Hayesh. Here he's talking about Bittul Hayesh, by the way. Bittul Hayesh, because he said that's the Olavay, the Bittul of Yesh to the Ayin. Bittul Hayesh means, I really want to do something, I have my own desires and will, but I'm giving it up for Hashem. Like an Eved, he has his own will. The master tells him to do something, he doesn't. Because he's bottled to the master, but really he doesn't want to do it. Then you have Bittul Metzias, which means that if the master wants it, I want it. So over there's no yesh that's bottled. You're the master. The master wants, I want. It's called, in Chassidus it says, bittul to the rotzein, or the bittul to the bal harotzein. And am I bottled to what you want, or am I bottled to the person who has the wants? Meaning, that's Nasiv and Ishma. Nasiv and Ishma by Matan Torah was the level of bittul to the bal harotzein. Normally I say, can you do me a favor? So you say, let me hear what? Then I hear what? You say, I'll do it, or I won't do it. But if a person says, can I ask you for a favor? And you say, yeah, sure, whatever. That's bittul till you don't even know what he wants yet. He might tell you something that's completely contrary to your existence. But you'll do it anyway. That's bittul b'metzias.
Is that the relationship Eliezer and Abraham? Eliezer, the Eved?
Eliezer was completely bittul. Eved, he didn't even say his name. Nowhere in Chumash does it say Eliezer.
How do we know that's Eliezer? We hear the name, no?
Because it says, Avdi Zekam Beisa Mesha B'chol Hashelei, who was his trusted Eved, was Eliezer. But when it says Hashem told Avram Avinu called in his Eved, it doesn't say his name. He comes in to make the shidduch pitch with the shadchan, to make a shidduch with Rivka. What did he say? Eved Avram Anechi. He didn't say Anechi Eliezer Eved Avram. There's no me.
How do you know his name is Eliezer?
Something called Ter Shabal Peh. How do you know how to put on tefillin?
Yeah.
Tie for a sign on your hand, that thing between your eyes, no? So put the phone between your eyes and be tefillin. I mean, how do you know what tefillin are? That's Ter Shabal Peh. He says, okay, Amnam Bittul Za'enam Miti Shamikamakim Yeshua Bevato Satmi. But nevertheless, Mikamakim. It's a rusa de l'sato. This is an awakening from above. In other words, like this. In order to come to Bittul B'Metzias, first you need Bittul Hayesh. And from Bittul Hayesh, in the ultimate level, then you come to complete Bittul B'Metzias. Achakach yeh b'chinas ayim mamish. Like Yichud Olam HaAtzilut Be'in Tzabarchu. The Ir v'gamer Chad Ha'eretz and the Kelim, it's all one. She'etzes Firsem b'chinas Bittul Amiti, learning Tzabarchu Melubash B'hem. Okay? So this is the ultimate purpose of the reason why the neshama comes down into the body is through the level of bittul, because he said before, how can you reach this level of elokus, the essence? It's only through non-existence. How do you come to this non-existence? By having the bittul of the three pillars, Torah, Veda, Mitzvah, and every mitzvah befrat. You have the level of bittul mitzias. It doesn't start off bittul mitzias, but it's a beginning. You have bittul hayesh, you come to bittul mitzias. That's the whole purpose of Torah mitzvahs.
There must be a yesh to be bought. Without yesh, cannot be bought. You have to break the yesh to come to bittul.
From Hashem's perspective, is there a world? No. Right? Yeah? Not from the level of Ayom Elikim. From the essence of Hashem. Eined Muvade. There's no world. Right? So is there a yesh that's batul? There's no yesh.
You have to prove that there is a world.
I don't have to prove it.
There are two proofs, but
I understand. It says how maybe the world is bluff. No?
it's a yesh. It's a yesh that's possible.
From the level of Hashem that created the world.
Correct.
But if the level of Elokus that there is no world, there's only Elokus, there's not even a yesh.
From his perspective.
I'm talking about from his perspective. So you said a statement that's not necessarily true. You said in order to have bittul, you have to have a yesh. I'm saying you can have a bittul, there was never a yesh to begin with.
But that's his perspective.
That's good enough for me. That's a good perspective. It's a good perspective, Hashem's.
But he's not being bought. I'm being bought.
Who are you?
I don't know.
Okay, so that's why you don't know. This will be the level of the Gil of Chesed. Yamina Chesed is the right hand. The Mata Be'elam Asiyah Mamish. that in this guf, guf udra yamina keli lamata, gam kim be'elam asiyah, la shrois erin tzavkim echesed udra yamina. The Alter Rebbe is saying like this. Why is chesed of Atzilus, like we say in Pasuk Leo, chesed udra yamina. Chesed is the right hand of Hashem. Why is chesed of Atzilus called the right hand of Hashem? There's no hand there. Okay? So Chassidus explains two things. Number one, it does the same function, Baruchnius, what the right hand does Begashmis. Right hand is level of Mekiruv, Yamin Mekareves, the right hand, the Yisrael represents punishment. Okay? So what's the function of a right hand? Is to give. Chesed of Atzilus is a mashpia. It gives. That's one thing. Then Chassidus says something else. What's the spiritual source of Chesed of Atzilus? I remember of a hand down here. What is the spiritual source of the hand down here? It's Chesed Reya Yamina, it's Chesed of Atzilus. That means Chesed of Atzilus, which is not a hand, but when Chesed of Atzilus comes down, through Atzilus, through Bria, through Yitzhak, through Asiyah, into a physical body, Chesed of Atzilus, turning physical, becomes a right hand. Tiferet Gufa, when Tiferet, or for that matter, Mayim down here is Chesed. Eish is Gvura. Mayim is Chesed, right? So what's the spiritual source of Mayim? Chesed of Atzilus. What's the spiritual source of fire? Gvura of Atzilus. The right hand source is also Chesed of Atzilus. So how can Mayim also come from Chesed of Atzilus? But there's infinite levels in Chesed of Atzilus. There's one level of Chesed Atzilus, coming physical becomes a hand. There's one level of Chesed Atzilus that becoming physical becomes water, any other hashpah of Chesed. See, that's what he's saying. When Chesed of Atzilus comes down, then the hand becomes the keli to reveal Chesed of Atzilus down here. Okay, then he says in the parentheses, skip that. Okay, top of the page of 84. Through the level of Bitul Hayesh, from the awakening of down here. Shenos and Tzedakah b'yodei. Or Chachma me'echadam yekele b'chinas Chachma ilah. Or the Chachma of a person, okay? Again, everything physical comes from spiritual. Chachma of the brain comes from Chachma of Atzilus. So when a person learns Torah with their Chachma, they bring down Chachma of Atzilus down here. But you could be, as the pasuk says, Chamim Hema Lahara. You could be Chachamim for evil also. That you're coming from Chachma of Klippa. In other words, Yishmael is Chesed of Klippa. So the source of Yishmael down here is Chesed of Klippa. Yosef comes from Yitzchak, is Gvur of Klippa. Now with the level of Bittul, by revealing that level of Sefer Kama, that there is no existence, that level of Elokus, the highest level of Atzilus, and the lowest level of Asir are equal. What's the primary concept of a mitzvah? To be batul to Hashem. Right? The primary purpose of a mitzvah is to do what Hashem wants. That's the reward of the mitzvah. What is the reward of the mitzvah? Through your bittul, you bring down your batul talukus, you become one with talukus. Bittul means I become one with the thing I'm batul to. So the whole purpose of mitzvah is to do what Hashem wants, not what I want. And therefore, it's complete bittul to Hashem. Mimkeire the kula v'abitul aydei gilur into bitul zu yeshlim b'chol echad ve'echad mi Yisrael. Every Jew has this level of bitul. Shei kol echad mevatos atmi ma'atov yarkei. Because any way you look at it, every person has a little bit of bitul. Not too much. But we have a little bit of bitul. You know, anytime you do a mitzvah, basically it's a bit of a bittul. You do somebody a favor, it's bittul. I mean, whatever it is. The Gemara says a person doesn't bow by meidim, doesn't have a chiluk in olam, doesn't get up to tchias mason. Why? You don't have bittul now. You're not going to have bittul later. Of tchias mason, the gili of elukus. So now he says in the Kitzur, Behar Sof Baruch Hu Sefer Kol Almin Malek Kol Almin, that the level of Sefer Kol Almin, the level of Sefer Kol Almin is Shmei Belvad. Malek Kol Almin comes into the world as only Harim, it's Temes. The Neshamas, the serious Neshamas comes from Yishtabach Shimcha, from Malek Kol Almin, and then you go through mitzvahs, you go to the Gili of Sefer Kol Almin, the ultimate level of it. Okay, so now he says in Dalid, V'zei ne'mata yuvan gam kein inyan Shabbos shtei Shabbos kol chassid. The beginning of the Maimon he quoted, the Yishalmi, the bottom line is that both, if you keep one Shabbos, two Shabbos, or two Shabbos in one Shabbos, Mashiach would right away be here. Why? Because Shabbos is Aliyah Sa'elamis. Shabbos is the elevation of the worlds. V'aliyah yainu gam kein b'chinas bittul. What is Aliyah? When a world goes higher, again, it doesn't mean next floor up. In Elukus, a higher level means you feel more Elukus. Now, it's a catch, I don't know what's the chicken, what's the egg. But when you feel more Elukus, that means you're more bottle. Or the greater bittul makes you feel more Elukus. But Aliyah Sa'ilim doesn't mean, you go up there. Like when the Neshama dies, it goes up. It doesn't go up. It's funny. And Gehenna is not down there, by the way. It's a spiritual, it's a physical word for a spiritual dimension, which means more closer. Closer to Hashem, or more distant from Hashem, whichever one it is, that's what it means. That's what it means. Closer you are to Hashem is more revealed. But Hashem only reveals himself on something which is bottle. So because you have more bittul, that's why you get more elukus. It's a catch-22, because then when you have more elukus, you become more bottle. It becomes like a good vicious cycle, so to speak. In the same way, the opposite way. But the same thing is dangerous, because we learned that if a person learns Torah Shalei Lishma, without this bittul, all the Torah goes into Klippa, into Shalosh Klippos Atmeis. Why do you do it? So it says, because the Gemara said, Miteh Shalei Lishma Ba Lishma, eventually you'll come to learn it the right way. And when you learn it the right way, everything that you learned in Klippa is going to go back up to Kedusha. But it's interesting, it says in Tanya, Begil Gozel, Begil Golachar. You might not learn it Lishma this time around. So right now it's all in big Klippa. Maybe next five generations, so now you'll come back and maybe you'll elevate it and go back up. Does it anything, everything could go either up or down. Like it says in Chassidus, if a person uses the mashal of an apple, you're about to eat an apple, right now the apple is klipas nega. It's kosher, right? That's only until the Jew touches it. The second the Jew touches it, it either goes up to Kedusha or goes down to Shalosh Klippos Atmeis. If you eat it Lishma properly, right, it goes up to Kedusha. You eat it the wrong way, it goes into Klipas Nega. So all these things are only what they are until the Jew touches it. And the second the Jew touches it, either goes up or down, and you live happily ever after. No neutral. Neutral until we touch